Welcome right back to the Buzz Podcast, episode 51. We're here after I don't know, it was a interesting day for football. Um, wasn't my best day for being a Lions fan. Nick,
Yeah,
I would say you had an exciting day. The Bills just straight blew out this, not really blow out,
I
but
mean, Josh Allen had a career game.
They controlled the game.
mm, they controlled the game from the beginning. They were up like 14-0 at
And
one,
forced
21-0.
Wilson to 4 turnovers.
He had 4 turnovers.
Yeah,
I did not see that. A lot of high scoring games in the NFL today. A lot. I'm gonna say I don't think any winner scored under 20 points, which is rare if you see that. But Titans had a big win against the Bears. It looked like that was a defensive battle mainly.
Somehow our defense showed up. I mean, the final score was a little deceiving. The Titans kind of controlled from the score. They were up 17-0 at one point. They got some garbage time touchdowns at the end.
So they really controlled the Bears on the ground today. It looked like Montgomery couldn't do like anything.
I feel like he never does anything.
Well, yeah. Besides that, but Dalvin Cook completely torn to the Lions. Stafford's in concussion protocol, so we're all good in Detroit right now.
David Blau season.
No, they have Chase Daniels. I don't know why they. I was like, you know what? Chase Daniels threw an interception. I said it's David Blau time, and I really wanted them to bring him in. Low key, David Blau on Thanksgiving. That's all I'm saying.
Jeez, not again.
But yeah, a lot of big games. You had Christian McCaffrey. He came back almost up. The Panthers beat the Chiefs. I think they should have, honestly. Panthers were playing. I don't know. If
They
you
don't
guys
give the
saw
ball
it.
to DJ Moore. It affects my fantasy team
Saw
and
they
their team.
attempted like a 68-yarder to win it.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was. No, honestly, he had the leg for it.
Yeah,
but-
almost. I think it might have been a little short, but if we would have saw.
No, I think he had it. It was I think he had it. It was just the wind. It was too windy there that he missed it. But McCaffrey had a good first game back. I think he had like just over 100, probably a little bit more, but over 150 total yards, 2 touchdowns. So a good game from him. So he obviously looks good, like he's back. Did hurt his ribs near the end of the game, so something to look into there for me, especially now that I have him on my fantasy team, but back on the
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing really big. Sunday night game was
really, really bad.
A
yeah,
massacre.
it was a complete blowout. Buccaneers just did not. I don't even know what was going on. They had the least amount of carries in a game in NFL history, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was 6 before.
They had how many did they have? They had 5 total carries, but in reality, it was 4 total carries because the last carry was a Blaine Gabbert kneel. So I mean, they had 4 total carries the entire game, and they had 8 total yards because -1 yard for the kneel, so 9 actual yards. So
Yeah, rough game for AB's debut.
yeah, I would say AB. He had 3 catches, 31 yards. I mean, they have a. When you read this, you don't think this team would lose. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, Ronald Jones, Rob Gronkowski.
I mean, the Saints just have Tampa's number this year.
Oh, they won the first game, right?
Yeah, I think it was a blowout too.
And like, let's just take a look at New Orleans stats here. So Drew Brees, 222 yards, 4 touchdowns, perfect. Taysom Hill, 2 passes, 48 yards. Taysom Hill, 7 carries, 54 yards. Elvin Kamara, 9 carries, 40 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Thomas came back, 5 catches, 51 yards. Taysom Hill again, 1 catch, 21 yards. Emmanuel Sanders, 4 catches, 38 yards. They just seem like they're just having quality play from all, and it seems like honestly, Taysom Hill is becoming a good part of that team. And it's from the games I've watched that have been nationally televised, it seems like teams are having a hard time covering him, which is really weird because
I mean, he's a big guy.
yeah, he's 6'5", like 230.
Like yeah, he was like trucking players out there.
Like here, let me pull up his stats here, but I think he's like 6'5", like 230. So, and he literally is somebody that can do it all. Okay, 6'2", 220. Not a little off on that, but it's still big. Like that's still like
He's still a big boy.
That's like Derrick Henry, or Derrick Henry 6'5", isn't he?
No, he's
So
6'3".
he's 6. Yeah, so literally that's like a Derrick Henry right there. That is probably a little bit maybe actually faster than Derrick Henry. Probably not the strength, but because let me see what Derrick Henry is here. He's definitely has better hands than Henry.
Derrick Henry's on the
That's not that hard.
juice.
Yeah, Derrick Henry definitely. Yeah, okay, so he's Derrick Henry's an inch taller and 20 pounds heavier. So that 20 pounds
Yeah.
is a lot. But still, Taysom Hill, he looks like he's a key part of that offense, and I feel like he's gonna help them in the long run. And obviously the one thing about the Saints is that they have that chemistry. Most of that team has been together for 2 or 3 years now. So except adding Emmanuel Sanders in there, I mean that's your really only like hiccup. Jared Cook's been there for a year now, so he's kind of getting in the groove. I mean that defense has been together. Just had Kaiwan Alexander, right? Or yeah, that's the first
I
name.
mean, they always have the team and then blow it in the playoffs every year.
So I mean, we'll see if Drew Brees can close it out in his what some say his final season, and I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. Now one thing we talked about this back in July, our awards. Many of us had Drew Brees winning the MVP for his being at final season. Now, since we're just past the halfway point, it was week 9 this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was week 9. We're a week past the halfway point. We figured we're down 2 people, but we figured we would do our mid-season awards and who we think is going to play out the rest of the season and possibly win some of these awards. So we'll go in the order that we normally do here. We are going to be doing. What do we want? Do we want to start Coach of the Year or Fantasy Player of the Year first?
We'll start with fantasy, I guess.
All right, so we're going to be doing Fantasy Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and MVP. We'll have our dark horses for those last 3, but the rest of them will just be straight out. I do have 2 people for my Coach of the Year because I think there's some strong. I think there's one team that or one guy that many won't consider, but could easily get it. So, Ben, what do you got for your Fantasy Player of the Year?
Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
I know he missed a game. It's either I'm going to go with either Dalvin Cook or DK Metcalf.
Understandable. Okay.
Because I think both of those get a lot of points, and I think they're all not really around DK Metcalf, but the offense in Minnesota revolves around Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins. Well, let's just say if they have a chance in hell of who are they playing next week on Monday night?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Wait, really?
They're playing Chicago.
They're playing Chicago.
No, but Chicago. Oh, sorry.
But if they have a chance in hell of beating them, it's just only going to be Dalvin Cook.
Chicago also has one of the best run defenses in the NFL, so that's where you run into your problem there. I have Pat Mahomes, but I do agree with you on that Dalvin Cook. But for the reason for Pat Mahomes is their offense runs through him, and you've really seen that now that Clyde has kind of slowed down and Le'Veon Bell is there, but not getting a lot of carries. The offense runs through Pat. He's had 4 or 5 touchdowns multiple times this year in games, and it just seems like he's obviously we know he's the best player on that team. He's one of the best players. He's if not the best player in the league, and I just feel like he's putting up the fantasy points top. He has 2nd in the league next to Russ, but I feel like he's going to end off the year pretty strong, especially in the division he's in. So,
yeah, I think Dalvin Cook too, but there's a few other options that could win it too. I think.
Yeah, it's a very strong fantasy year. You're having a lot of people constantly go off weekly, having big game after big game after big game, and I think some of these guys that are constantly going off, obviously, I think a couple of them could. I mean, Fantasy Player of the Year, obviously, I don't know if it's a real word or not, but I feel like it is at that.
I'm not sure.
I think it is, but a couple of these guys obviously are going to be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year and MVP. So Coach of the Year, Ben.
I'm gonna go with 2. I'm gonna go with Mike Tomlin and Mike Vrabel.
Oh. I mean, okay. I agree with those. Those are two good ones. Not bad. I said probably two ones people are going to overlook. The one maybe not so much, but the other one definitely. Brian Flores for what he's done with that Miami team. Not only with questionable, I don't think it was his choice to have Tua start, but they're still winning. They just won against Arizona, big win there. And then Ron Rivera, considering that he coached every single one of those games while still going through chemo treatment and having to get IVs at halftime every game. I mean, winning 2 games, I still think that's pretty impressive. Obviously, they have a chance to win the divisions somehow, and I think if they win the division, I give Coach of the Year to him, even though it's the not glamorous pick there. So,
The two I had are kind of, they're kind of like underrated ones. And one, what you said, Brian Flores, I think has a good shot, and Cliff Kingsbury on Arizona. I mean, both those teams were really bad last year, and they're both playoff teams this year. So
yeah, I agree with that, Cliff Kingsbury. It's definitely, they're both those are on more basis if they make the playoffs, I think, and or because obviously neither of them are going to be able to win their divisions because you got the Bills there and then you got the Seahawks over there. So I think if both of them are able to get 10 plus wins, or either of them are able to get 10 plus wins and somehow squeeze in the playoffs, they could
yeah,
one of
if
them.
Flores gets the Dolphins to the playoffs, then
Without a doubt, in his
huge.
second year, he'll if Flores can get the Dolphins to the playoffs, he will single-handedly in 2 years be the most successful Patriots offspring coach to do good, I think.
If only the Lions got him.
We don't want to talk about it. Okay, so defensive rookie of the year, which is I will admit this was a hard one, I think, for us. But Ben, who do you got?
Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be Chase Young.
Chase Young, even though he has a slow start right now.
Yeah, I think he's going to pick it back up. He had he had a pretty fast start at the beginning of the season, and then he slowed down. I think he had an injury, but I think he's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I said at the beginning of the season Isaiah Simmons, but they don't use him at all, so he can't
I don't know
be
what's
the
going on with
defensive player
him.
of the year.
Yeah, it's really weird. They don't, for some reason, that he plays, but they don't. Like you said, they don't use him that much, which is
Something must be happening behind the scenes.
yeah. I think that he was dealing with an injury at the beginning of the year, kind of, but yeah. Okay, so I have again probably not the most glamorous, but Antoine Winfield Jr. 51 total tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, 4 pass deflections. I could get into the really sweaty stats, but I'm not going to do that. So, yeah, I say Antoine Winfield Jr.
I mean, the one I said, no one probably even knows about him that much, but Jeremy Chin on the Panthers.
He did just win Defensive Rookie of the Month.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, he has 67 tackles, 5 pass defense, 1 interception. I mean, I feel like he's just an underrated player.
Yeah, I think he's kind of. I don't think he's playing, and I could be wrong in this, but I don't think he's playing the true safety position.
Yeah,
I think he's.
I think he's playing like safety and linebacker.
Yeah, he's playing because I don't want to say Michigan kind of made it a relevant position, but it's like the Viper position. It's what like Jabril played in college, where he kind of plays down in the box, but at the same time he floats.
Yeah.
He's a floater player. But yeah, I think he has a strong chance. I think it's going to be a DB this year. There's not that a lot of the front 7 are not performing how they thought they were going to.
I had Chase Young beginning of the year, but I don't know. He hasn't really. I think he's been injured, so.
Yeah, we're not going to. Do we want to reference who we all picked for defensive rookie? I know you wrote that down.
Yeah, I mean, I had Chase Young, and then Ben picked Isaiah Simmons.
Okay.
And Ben's dark horse was Zach Bond.
I have not heard his name.
I don't know if he's played this year.
I don't know if he's played.
Who is Zach? Who is he?
The New Orleans.
Yeah, I think the Saints took him like third or fourth round or something, or maybe later. And then Andrew, you took Akuda as defense rookie of the year, and then you had Patrick Queen as the dark horse, which he could be in the running still.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about Zach Vaughn right now.
My dark horse was Grant Delpit, but he got injured at the beginning of the year, so.
Yeah, I don't think Zach Vaughn has done anything. All
Yeah.
I'm seeing is Zach Vaughn obituary. So, yeah. So then we got our offensive rookie of the year, which I think this is gonna be very surprising with who people have coming out here, who we have coming out here. But Ben,
Justin Herbert.
yeah, I have Justin Herbert too.
Yeah, I picked him too. I mean, even though they're not winning, he's just playing out of his mind.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's performing better than Burrow. Burrow's performing at a great level too. You can't doubt him. He's number 3 in passing yards, and his completion is iffy a little bit, but Burrow's playing amazing. Herbert's just playing better. He's doing it in the air and on the ground. He showed that he's a 6'5" god, that he can just.
Yeah, he looks like he's been playing the league for years already.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. Him and Burrow are probably the 2 most NFL ready QBs we've seen in a while, I think.
Yeah, like they're gonna be
good for years, because I mean, it helps that they were both almost 4 years. I think they were both 4 years in college, so they're both like 22 right now.
They both went to good schools.
Yeah, they both went to I don't know what Herbert, he majored in something smart. I can't remember right now, but he majored in something smart. So he's a smart person. And Herbert, in 5 years, he had to learn 5 different playbooks, because he had a new offensive coordinator every single year at Oregon, and then obviously now with the Chargers. So he's had to learn 5 new playbooks in 5 years.
He's probably have to learn a new one next year. They'll probably fire some
more than likely
coaches.
Yeah, but I think if Herbert, other candidates, Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think those are your top candidates right there. Okay, so now we have Defensive Player of the Year. And this will have a dark horse. So, yeah, you can say your winner and then your dark horse right away. So, Ben?
I'm going to go with my winner. I want to say Myles Garrett. And I'm going to say Myles Garrett. I don't know why I said I want to. I am going to say Myles Garrett. That's going to be that's who I think is going to win. I kind of want, if Aaron Donald wins, he'll be tied for most, and I think he could win. But I'm going to go with Myles Garrett right now. And dark horse, my dark horse is going to be Zadarius Smith.
Okay. I have Aaron Donald winning it. He has 9 sacks. No, he's not showing any sign of slowing down. He's just a dominant player on the defensive line. And then I have TJ Watt. I think he has around like 5 or 6 sacks, and he's on one of the best defenses in the league right now. And he's just showing out. He shows that even if he's not making a play on the ball, he's making an impact on the play in some form of either pushing the play to the other side of the field and letting them get the tackle, or some ways of that form. So,
yeah, I mean, I picked Donald to win it too, and the dark horse I picked Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I think that Minkah goes same way with TJ Watt.
Yeah,
he's just playing amazing for that secondary right now.
I think he's been one of the best safeties this year.
Oh, he's one of the best safeties we've seen in a while. I think I'm not going to compare him to Troy Polamalu, but he kind of fits that Steelers having an amazing safety kind of vibe. And yeah,
ever since he went to Pittsburgh, he's been a way different player.
Yeah. So then we have Offensive Player of the Year. So Ben, who do you got? So this is dark horse too. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it.
Oh no.
Derrick Henry.
Hey, we said it again.
I mean, he has 700 and something yards right now rushing, so if he stays on pace, I mean, I don't see a point in not giving it to him.
And you know who I'm gonna say for my dark horse? He's been injured this year, but he has played amazing when he came back. Devontae Adams. Even though he's missed games, I think he has a good chance of winning it.
Okay. I have Kamara. He's close to 1,000 total yards. Obviously, I struggled with this pick because I feel like he might slow down that Michael Thomas is back, but he's the focal point of that offense when Thomas wasn't there. So hopefully, like, Thomas kind of takes a step back, though I know Thomas won't. He'll want the ball. So, I mean, if he continues on the route, he could probably have just over 1,500 total yards, and I feel like that should easily win you the Offensive Player of the Year. But if not, I think I have Russ, and or if he somehow shows out in these last, how many? I don't even know. Probably, what would that be? Last 8 weeks, Christian McCaffrey, because of how well he played in his first game back. If somehow he can miss 6 weeks and still come back and have his best game of the year, I think he could win it somehow. But
Yeah, I picked Alvin Kamara too as my offensive player of the year, and the dark horse I picked was DK Metcalf. He just looks like unguardable this year.
yeah, I struggled with picking a quarterback for my dark horse, but
Yeah,
but Russ is just playing at another level that, like, I think he's just so tired of not winning awards that he I know he says they don't matter to him, but I know he just wants one.
he isn't gonna vote either for him.
And I think that's where we move to MVP. So who do you got, Ben?
My MVP. There's a lot of them. I like, if I were like to be non-subjective in this, it would probably be Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
I think he has a good chance of winning again. But I'm gonna say, after this game with Russell Wilson, I think I'm going with Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
Aaron Rodgers. I kind of wanted to say Kyler Murray, but I don't think Kyler Murray's done that great to be in the MVP category right now. But I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, who's your dark horse, man?
I'll go with my dark horse. I'll go say Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. Okay. I'm gonna switch mine up because I was thinking about it. I'm gonna go the basic one here. I'm gonna go Pat Mahomes. Just for the fact of he's playing amazingly. Obviously, he limits turnovers. He barely gets any. He's throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns a game. Actually, I want to see what his touchdown count is up to. I should have checked that before. He's at 2,300 yards right now, passing, and he's only at, hold on. Take a second here. He's at 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. Like, that's an amazing touchdown interception ratio. Like, probably the best in recent years. So I think he wins that, and they're winning games, which matters. And then who I had winning, Russell, but it's the turnovers for him there. Like you said today, which I didn't know, he had 4 turnovers just today. And
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that he needs to work on, because it's lying on his shoulders. He has to pass the ball because running backs out, they're starting DJ Dallas, whoever that is, and it's kind of laying on his shoulders. And when it's laying on his shoulders, he's obviously choking. And when the run game hasn't worked for KC, Pat Mahomes has showed he can deal under pressure. So that's Pat Mahomes.
I mean, it's a toss of me, Mahomes and Russell Wilson. I think it's just gonna be like a duo throughout the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's hard to even pick one. I mean, after today, obviously I think Mahomes looks like the better option, but Russell Wilson's gonna get better. I feel like. I mean, I think he'll be able to win it still.
You think Russell?
Yeah, and then I mean the dark horse. I'm just gonna stick with my last dark horse, Josh Allen. I mean,
I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Josh Allen's surprising a lot of people this year. He's playing the best football of his life, and he's helping the Bills. He's held the Bills to 7 wins in 9 games already.
I think the if we're going, because it seems like MVP is obviously a QB award.
Yeah, well,
It's just basically who's the best QB in the league. And when you look at it, you got it narrowed down to 5 quarterbacks right now. 5 or 6. You got Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. Before tonight's game, Tom Brady. A lot of people were calling him as the top spot. So
Yeah,
I
he
think I
was
have
looking good before today.
Tom
Yeah,
Brady,
that's changed.
Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, and then like you said, Bub, I think Kyler Murray, just due to the, not only his passing yards but his rushing ability that he's shown this year, because he's passed for 1,800, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So obviously the interceptions are an issue, but he's also he rushed for 544 yards alone last year. He's already rushed for 437 in 7 games.
He's
So
looking like last year Lamar Jackson probably.
yeah, he has 20 total touchdowns. Um, obviously the interceptions are a little issue there. He has 7 this year. He had 12 all last year. So if he can cut back on the interceptions, obviously it's going to be a little harder for him now that he has such an amazing receiving core
Yeah.
that he's just going to try to force the ball. But I feel like those are your top 6 quarterbacks in the NFL right now that have a realistic chance at MVP, unless somebody emerges out of nowhere. I think
I feel like a rookie might almost make a case for an MVP.
I think if Burrow really, really stands out the second half of the season, he might be put on the conversation.
no, I personally think it's Herbert.
But it's just that Herbert's record's only it's gonna not.
Well, the difference between Herbert and Burrow is that Burrow started all the games. That's the only reason I'm saying him for MVP and not Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, right now, because Herbert has 1,800, 15 and 5, and then he has 142 on the ground with 2 touchdowns. Where Burrow has, what does Burrow have here? Burrow has 2,200, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So Herbert has more touchdowns than him, obviously. Not that.
Yeah, I mean, he has the better offense.
Yeah. I mean, better offensive line.
Offense,
better offensive line, because when you look at it, Burrow has, I know AJ Green's been out for 10 years, but he has AJ Green, Tyler Boyd,
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, yeah, he's making an amazing case this year for one of the better.
He doesn't really have a tight end though.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really iffy. But then he has Gio Bernard, a veteran. He has Joe Mixon. Obviously, he's hurt. But Drew Sample's been looking good for them. Obviously, he's not that experienced of a player. He's a veteran though, so I think that's what matters. So it's not like he doesn't have the receivers. It's more of he doesn't have the time, really, because he's shown that he can pass. He's shown that he has the ability to pass for 400 yards. He's done it twice, I believe.
That's the thing. The only issue with Herbert is his record's 1-6. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
But I mean, not all of it's his fault. Like,
yeah, no, because
they're allowing like 30 points a game.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you look at it, they've had a lot of close games, and some of those close games has been on the defense. It hasn't been on Herbert. It's been on the defense blowing the game. Herbert puts them in position to win. And same with Joe Burrow. There's been a lot of games where Joe Burrow's put their team in position to win, and the defense or the special team blows it. And these quarterbacks that's a good trait, that you're able to put your team in position to win these games. And I mean, at that point, it's not on you. Some of these quarterbacks, the young rookies, will take it to heart that it's on them that they didn't do enough, but they've shown that they can do enough to put their.
It's just sad how Tua already has more wins technically than Herbert, and he's 2-0.
Yeah, Tua is interesting. Because he had a good game today.
Yeah. Against the Rams, he didn't really do anything, but today
he didn't have to.
Yeah.
I think I saw a clip because one of the offensive linemen, like Tua, was really down on himself in the first half because he only had like 30 yards passing, and one of the offensive linemen came up to him. He was like, "Why is your head down?" He was like, "You can't do anything. We had 17 offensive plays." He was like, "Nobody has 17 offensive plays in the first half ever." He was like, "You should be happy that we're up 21-0 right now." Or I don't know what the score was, but he was like, "You should be happy we're up by that much and we only played 17 offensive plays." So
yeah, I mean, that was just a cakewalk.
I think when Tua got the opportunity to go up against a good defense, and he got the drives and the possessions and the actual time to be able to kind of move around and experience what NFL game is like, I think he kind of showed that he can play. And I mean, his brother played amazingly again this weekend. His brother is starting to look better than him at Maryland.
One thing I want to say, it is weird seeing a left-handed quarterback back in the NFL. It's kind of weird.
When was the last time it was? It was like early.
What was the guy? Who is the what's that guy's name? He's the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys now.
My boy Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore, yeah, that was the last time a left-handed quarterback started a game. That was in 2015.
Yeah,
So,
Kellen Moore. He played for the Lions in a game, I think. Yeah, I think that's the last time he played in a game because Kellen Moore never started for the Lions. But yeah. I don't know. He might have started for the Cowboys at one point, I think. But still, yeah. So those are our picks, obviously. We're down Joe and Brad.
One thing I do want to say, though, before we end this video.
Okay.
Shout out to Chase Elliott.
Oh,
I saw your NASCAR thing on the wall. Remind me of shout out for Chase Elliott for winning the championship.
Well, how did you see that? Oh yeah, you can barely see it. I was like,
yeah, I can barely see it. I was looking. I was like, oh yeah, that did. And then it was Jimmy Johnson's final race, which was very sad. But
yeah, he was Chase Elliott was the youngest person to ever win it, right?
No, he was the third youngest.
Didn't William call it?
What, Nick?
Didn't William call it?
I think he did earlier in the season. I think you're right. William may have called that. I think William was a Chase Elliott fan though, so yeah, you know. But I think that's all we got for you guys. Obviously down Joe, Brad, and Mort for this video. So it was just I think we do good as us three. We've done a couple videos just us three, so
not like the prime days where the full crew.
Yeah, not the prime where we had 6 in here, but you know, can't win them all. So Nick and Jones Film Room will be out tomorrow along with our picks. I think we're gonna get back on getting them out on time. So
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. You can't pick and choose, but thank you guys for watching, and if you guys could like and subscribe, that'll help out a lot, and we will see you next time.
We'll have homework to do again at 12 o'clock.